when I'm walking down the street.
I do want to say to Donnie and many of you in this room that over a very long career in this city, all of you have helped me and my colleagues tell the truth and to try to tell.
I may not look like you and you me, but
my head up.
I'm from South Carolina, so I just...
What does this event mean to you, Miss Peggy Morris?
Oh, my heart.
Happy 20th anniversary.
My heart is about loving up on my sisters. Do you know what it feels like to have your sisters in the room? John.
And dare to be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. I am beautiful, I am blessed, but not just what you see in the flesh. I'm free from people, free from myself. There's a
the doctor lived next door to the janitor, to the reverend, and the lawyer. We were together. Now we get so high and mighty that you create stress for your society because you don't like poor black folks either. That's a health problem. Get yourself together so I can stop being taking care of geriatric people and get back to pediatrics. I thank you, Donnie, for all you've done. Let's keep doing it all and more.
letting His glory shine through. Dare to be you, dare to be me, dare to be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. And I dare you, I dare you, I dare you to be you.
First name's Donnie, last name's Glover, in it to win it for the long haul, baby. All right, so we have a very special show today. We're going to talk with Mr. Wayne Frazier and company about the 20th annual Spring Breakfast Meeting / Business Showcase Expo at Martin's West. And it's coming up next Friday, May 12th, 7:30. Let me tell you, I've been to this event many times over the years, and I have always lauded it as the premier minority, and I don't like that word, but we're in America, the premier minority business event in the region. Now, you show me one that's bigger, that's better, show me one that's more organized when you think of Wayne and Pat Frazier and their team, and they just don't work on it, for a month or 2 months. This is a year of work that culminates into a spectacular event. See, Wayne, are you there, Wayne? Got to cut these cameras on. We have Mr. Evans. Good morning, Mr. Evans. How are you?
Good morning. I'm wonderful, wonderful.
Good. I'm not sure. Wayne's your camera on? Zed's got his camera off. Anyway, Mr. Evans, tell us about yourself. What do you think of this breakfast? Have you been before?
You nailed it, Donnie. You will not find a greater display of excellence in what it takes to really put, as you say, the minority business family together than this event that Wayne puts on every year. I couldn't agree with you more.
Good deal. Tell us about your business, Mr. Evans.
Well, I am the director of diversity, equity, and inclusion for the Cordish Company. So, we've been around for over 115 years, and we've been a mainstay in Baltimore and in the state of Maryland. I represent the gaming division, which is the casino side of things. And as you know, over the last 10 years, we've grown tremendously as a casino. We went from being just a slots only hall to a full gaming casino with table games being added, a poker room, and now most recently we added our FanDuel, our sports book, which has been phenomenal. We've added numerous restaurants, including our award-winning steakhouse, the Prime Rib. In addition to that, we then added a glorious 300-room hotel in 2018. Along with that, an incredible event center, and most recently in 2019, we opened our entertainment venue, The Hall.
So, Cordish Company and the work with this casino, this is certainly a revenue generator for the area.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We generate a ton of revenue for the state, for our local county, Anne Arundel. And we've done it for the last 10 years. You know, there's hundreds of millions of dollars being generated in tax revenue from live casino and hotel to help support our wonderful state and our wonderful county of Anne Arundel.
Okay, Mr. Frazier, you're looking good there. Say cheese, Mr. Frazier. Put your glasses on.
Gee, Donnie, I lost you there for a moment, and I got hectic as all get out. I said, gosh, this is my big moment. But good morning, Ed. Good morning, Ed.
Good morning. Good morning.
I hope Zed is out there. Good morning to you, Zed.
Yeah, he dipped off. Maybe he'll tune back in. Sometimes there can be some challenges. But Mr. Frazier, I think we certainly, you know, before going too far with Mr. Evans, he did a brief intro. Okay, here comes Zed. You know, sometimes the camera. Let me see. Come on, Zed. You're halfway there. So, Mr. Frazier, take the lead here. Tell us about. Well, first of all, because I like you, Mr. Frazier, and I want you to have a really happy home. So they say happy house, happy spouse, happy house. You better tell them about Pat Frazier. That's what I would like you to start with.
Well, Donnie, you are so appropriate with that. My loving wife of 23 years, Patricia Frazier, is she actually runs the business, and sometimes
damn right she does.
Sometimes I hate admitting that, but the reality is that
you'll live longer.
I live longer. I'm a showman, and she is the nitty-gritty operations type to make sure that all things get done. The employees get paid, taxes get paid, vendors get paid, the whole 9 yards. So that's the formation of a solidly run business. And I am so fortunate to have my wife at my side and at times leading me along the way. And I appreciate you acknowledging her for that. We've been in business together since 2007. And she was a former commercial mortgage banker at Citibank, prior to that at Harbor Bank. And so she has all of those financial experiences in her background. And Ed, he has a very, very, very lovely wife. Is it Lucinda, Ed?
It is Jacinda. Yes, it is Jacinda. Yes.
And
okay, let me just tell you that Zed has joined us. Zed, are you there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. We can't see you, but we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm having some technical difficulties. Good seeing you, Donnie. Thanks for having us.
Always. Mr. Frazier?
Yeah, so and Zed's wife is extremely supportive of him. So as you can see, having a happy life, happy wife, happy marriage is the key to success in America, for sure.
I just want to say to you, well, Mr. Evans, I don't want to jump the gun. Do you pay homage to the wife too? There's Zed.
Listen. Wayne and Zed both know my wife, Jacinda, and they understand. My wife told me when we first met, she said, I don't ever want to be a number one, but I will be your best number two you could ever imagine to have. And she has lived up to that 100%. She is absolutely the backbone to everything that we do. She's also an active employee for the Cordish companies. And I would venture to say, not only does she keep me in line, she keeps our CEO and chairman, David Cordish, in line as well. So wow. She wears two hats, if you will. She has to deal with me after 5 o'clock, and she has to deal with David from 9 to 5. So she's an extraordinary woman. Absolutely.
Okay, Zed, are you going to buck the trend? Are you going to say, okay, Donnie, not no, like Donnie. That in my household?
No, Donnie. I've been married for it'll be 40 years this year, believe it or not.
Wow. Hey.
And so I've been happily married. I attended Morgan State University. My wife went to Hampton. We met at a graduation party, and we've been married for 40 years. And faith and family are first and foremost in my life, Donnie. And so that's been the cornerstone of my success. I thank my dad, also my family. My dad is 90, lives with me now, and just showed me how to work hard, and had been married to my mom until she passed away. So Wayne is absolutely right. The bedrock of success starts with the family, for sure.
Mr. Frazier, we could do a show just on Black men being married in 2023. We could do a show just on that topic. Strong Black men, accomplished Black men who are wise enough to acknowledge the Queen.
Yeah,
I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah, and I'd be happy to be on that show, Donnie.
That you and me both, Zed. Because we can all give our wives the flowers now to let them know. Without them, we probably wouldn't be sitting in these seats that we're in right now.
Absolutely.
Correct. That is correct.
To God be the glory. Amen. Mr. Frazier.
So, Donnie, I'm so pleased that you afforded us the time this morning to be on your show, your Emmy-nominated show, I might add, because this is a special time of the year, the second Friday in May since 2023 has been the date where we honor those in our community. The community is the DMV, who have embraced, we used to call it minority and women business participation. Now we refer to it as the art of social economic engineering inclusion. And at the top of that in the DMV is the combination of the Cordish Company's Cordish Gaming, and here locally, the live casino and hotel brand, because they have demonstrated that it's important to run a first-class business, hire thousands of people locally, pay their taxes, provide philanthropic donations throughout the land, and share with our deserving minority and women-owned businesses. I know you don't like the term minority, but it is what it is, and that's the classification. And they have been extremely open and willing to share their good fortune with our certified minority and women-owned businesses here in the state of Maryland. And because of that, we are honoring them on May 12th as the most inclusive entertainment business here in the DMV, and specifically entertainment, because there's a whole lot more that goes on at the live casino hotel than just gaming. There is, of course, the entertainment side. There is their world-class restaurants. And all of that contributes to the wealth and the welcoming and the warmth of the whole casino environment. And so we ask both Zed Smith, who is a partner in the Cordish Companies. He is a CPA, and I believe he is the controller or treasurer of the corporation. And he travels across the country because the Cordish Companies have properties all around the country. to join us to discuss his role there and the great things that the Cordish Company does. And then we've invited Ed Evans because he was elevated a year or so ago into the Chief Diversity Officer role. And I believe it covers not just Maryland, but all of their casino and hotel properties. Because, again, we have two African-American men, both from the region. I think Zed is from D.C., Ed is from West Baltimore. Is that correct, Ed?
That is correct.
Okay. Where you're from, Donnie, where I'm from. And these guys hold key positions within this great corporation. So it illustrates that the Cordish companies and live casino and hotel and the gaming are extremely inclusive in bringing in African Americans in particular. And I know that pleases you because I've heard you say it many times that African Americans seem to always get left behind. But at those institutions, they are not being left behind. They are front and center, and they are contributing and ensuring that others get opportunities as well. And so I am extremely pleased to be here to celebrate the event that we have coming up on May 12th. And I mean, I want the world to know, how great the Cordish companies and live casino and the gaming section is. And so we'd like to start out with Zed. And Zed, if you can just comment on what your role is in all of these operations.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Well, thank you, Wayne. I think it's important to start from where I started within the organization. Even prior to that, prior to joining Cordish, I ran my own business. So I was a minority business owner. So that really did help shape the foundation of who we are today. It was very important to me when I joined the organization 20 years ago to really understand some of the challenges that, small businesses were facing. I had a lot of challenges when I was running my business. So when I was given the opportunity over 20 years ago to shape how we conduct business with small and minority businesses, I thought about the challenges that I faced. My current role is Chief Operating Officer. I did serve as Chief Financial Officer. I was elevated, I guess, about probably 7 years ago. So I've been operating all of our properties across the country, except for the gaming division. And in this role, what I've tried to do is set the stage for all of our properties, gaming, in addition to our real estate division, on how we're going to do business across the board with small businesses and minority businesses. And I think we were forerunners. We were doing this way before it became "quote unquote" popular. We saw it as an opportunity to do good business. We operate in a number of cities across the country, largely African American cities, and we felt it was important to, as part of our role to be good business citizens, was to engage strategically and intentionally with small and African American businesses. So this wasn't an afterthought for us. We were very, very intentional about what we were trying to achieve.
Zed, let me just jump in here. I remember when I was working down there at 34 Marketplace,
yep,
Diane Bell McCoy, seeing you every morning. Now I think the landscape has changed down there, but wherever that circle is, I'd see you there every morning, and you were pretty much giving directions, and you were checking all over the place. But can you go back to some of the challenges before you went into Cordish? What you saw as a business owner, some of the challenges you faced?
Yeah, well, let me go back even further, Donnie. I think I may have met you when I was doing work on the Avenue Market. Yeah, we were at the Avenue Market, working with Lena Boone at the time.
Wow.
And
That's her name.
Lena gave me
Lena K. Boone.
Lena Boone, who I met, gave me an opportunity, Donnie. She didn't have to. I was at that time. Dan Henson was head of housing. So Donnie, along the way, so many people just gave me an opportunity, and I think that's important. And that's what I try to do. That's what we've tried to do as a company. We try to give small minority businesses an opportunity. And so what we often hear is that the playing field is not level. We often hear that there are barriers to entry. And what we've tried to do as a company is to create opportunities and make sure the playing field is even. And we work with, our small businesses to ensure that they have opportunities to do business with us. But going back to your question, it was the challenges were, I won't say they were barriers, but as a small business, you're the chief cook and bottle washer, right? You're all things to all people. And the most important thing that happened for me was someone gave me a break. Someone gave me an opportunity. Dan Henson gave me a break. Lena Boone gave me a break. I was always, a hard worker, but sometimes you can work hard and you just don't get the breaks you need. Right. So I see that in a lot of small businesses. And as my position here elevated, I made it a point that I'm going to put in place, a system or programs that allow, African American owned businesses to have an opportunity to do business with us. We're a big company. We spend a lot of money, and we are very intentional about who we spend that money with. And Wayne will tell you, once you're in the family, once you're in the Live family and the Cordish family, in terms of doing business with us, you remain in the family. And that's something, again, that we were very intentional about. And I tell every small business owner that works with us, just do a good job. Just work hard and deliver. I can't help you if you don't deliver. And I don't care whether you're a minority business or not. If you're not delivering, then I can't help you. This is business, right? But my job is to create opportunities for you. And if I do, the expectation is that you're going to deliver. And if you continue to deliver, you can deliver for us in any property across the country. That's just how we're set up. And that's our main mission. But again, to answer your question, Donnie, it was so much of it was just access to the right people. And it's knocking on doors. It's so much easier now with all the technology that we have. But you can imagine how it was, 25 years ago, when you really had to knock on a door. You couldn't send an email to anybody. You had to knock on the door, So it was challenging in that respect. But most importantly, there were people that believed in me, that created opportunities for me. And I said to myself, I'm not going to let anybody down. And then I think that's what really kind of led me to where I am today. Just those opportunities and a work ethic and a belief that I had to prove myself. And even today, even after being here 20 years, every day I have to prove myself,
Mr. Frazier, you understand the political realm, and you have often said if that political doesn't translate into economics, then we have absolutely nothing. So I think this is right in sync with what you've always pushed. You've always pushed the envelope for our businesses, and Zed is proof positive. I've seen him on the streets of Baltimore. And then I wanted to say, he mentioned Daniel P. Henson III. He was running two agencies, Housing Authority of Baltimore City and the Department of Housing and Community Development at one time, and that was under Kurt Schmoke, first Black elected mayor. So this is right in your bailiwick.
Well, Dan just turned 80 this year, and he's still rocking and rolling. He had his daughter that he's developed and trained, heading up the development company. And with Michael Beatty, another friend to the minority business community from Beatty Development, has afforded Dan opportunities to partner with him on a number of projects down in the Harbor Point. And each one of those projects are golden. So I'm glad you brought that up, about those who have been kind to us and friendly to us over the years. But much like the Cordish Company, you have Michael Beatty of the Beatty Company, who tried to lure David Cordish down to Harbor Point, but he instead brought in the Exelon. And as you can see, without Exelon down there, and now it's Constellation, I don't think that would have gotten off the ground the way it is. So I'm glad you brought those up, because it brings back memories. And I remember Lena Boone from back in the day at Harbor Bank with Joe Haskins when I was working there for 10 years, and how she was instrumental in legislation and raising capital for the bank at that time. So those are all luminaries within our community. And I guess this show is the perfect time to bring it out. But I'd like to bring in Ed now. And we know he's from West Baltimore, and he can tell us what part of West Baltimore. But Ed is also a celebrity, a celebrity chef, might add. So Ed, why don't you tell us about some of those?
Well, I am a West Baltimore product. Grew up on Lafayette and Payson. Played James Mosier baseball.
There you go. There you go.
You know, Detroit Tigers for the James Mosier League. Went to Calverton. Graduated from Frederick Douglass Senior High School. So I'm Baltimore through and through.
Wow.
But yeah, I did fall in love with the culinary world. Obviously, very young. My grandmother used to make us walk down to Lexington Market. And I'm going back to the days, you know, when sawdust used to be on the floors in Lexington Market. Not the one that they have today, but I fell in love with cooking.
Sawdust.
Sawdust, yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. So, you know, I fell in love with cooking, and I started to pursue that path. I got my degree in culinary arts and restaurant hospitality. I trained in France for 1.5 years. Came back and I started trekking my way through the culinary world, and I got an opportunity. And we talked earlier about the wives being the backbone. Okay, how I got introduced to the Cordish Companies was through my wife, who was already working there for 1 year, and an opportunity came to be the director of culinary operations for that company. And she gave me a phone call and said, "You better interview for this job." So I did. And I became the director of culinary operations for that job. Absolutely. And I was in charge of close to about $30 million worth of food and beverage revenue that was going through those walls every day. And I did that for 7.5 years with the company. And to Wayne's point, for those people who don't know, I did get a chance and opportunity to go on the Food Network on CHOP to represent Maryland and the live casino brand. I did not win, Wayne. I did not win, but I did stay on for the entire show. And I want to talk about something really quickly. Don't want to lose this point about our philanthropic things that we do. Okay, I went on this show, Donnie, because I wanted to win that $10,000, because I wanted to do something for the inner city kids. Right, that was my whole mission. I wanted to do something for the kids. I come back from the show dejected, you know, my head's in between, I'm down because I didn't win. And, you know, at the time, Rob Norton, who was our president and CEO of Cordish Gaming, he comes to me and he goes, "Ed, listen, we're still going to give you the $10,000 to do what you want to do."
Wow.
Although you didn't win, right? I said, "Wait a minute, you are?" He said, "Yeah." So he said, "You put it together and we're going to do it." Donnie, I brought 350 inner city kids into our wonderful hall. And what we did was we did something called Around the World on a Plate, is where we expose kids to culture, worldly culture, through food.
Wow.
Okay. Now, here's where we go. The event actually cost us over $70,000 to put on. Okay, so my little $10,000 was nothing. We actually spent $70,000 on the event, and then we turned around and donated the $10,000 to the Wild Central Maryland, where I stood on the board, right? So that is, you know, what intentionality looks like from a company that's really embedded into the community. And then later on, through that, I've been doing a lot of work in the community. Everyone in Maryland knows me because of all the work that I do in the communities. I stay living in it. And the opportunity came. I said, hey, I don't want to cook anymore. And he said, what? I said, no, I don't want to cook anymore. I want to do something that's more fulfilling for my soul. I want to be able to do something that can really make me feel again. And it was all about this DE&I space and really doing things from a diversity, equity, and inclusion standpoint. And to the point of our company, and Zed brought it up, they didn't hesitate to create my position, give me the position, and then tell me, go, get out there and do what you need to do. And under that leadership, and Zed has been just, listen, an incredible mentor for me through this process. And doing this work, I began to really get into the diversity roles. Now, Donnie, let me tell you something about intentionality. When I first started with the Cordish Companies at Live, I was one of 2 Black executives. Okay. And that was 10 years ago. Today, we have 13 women who are directors or above. We have 9 African Americans who are directors or above. We have 3 Asians who are directors or above. You know, and we have 4 members of the LGBTQIA community who are directors or above. So when you talk about intentionality and what diversity looks like in a company, I think we are not only leading the way, I think we are the perfect example of what it looks like when you really want to say you are a diverse company who values equity and inclusion in people. And I'm not just giving you lip service. These are facts. These are numbers that can be supported. And it's what we really do when you put your mind, body, and soul behind a true mission.
Yes, yes, yes. So how does what you just said, how does that flow into this term that is so loosely thrown out today called woke? Does that mean that the live casino brand, Cordish brand, is a woke corporation?
Well, we've never been asleep. So
I love it.
you know, the company's never been asleep. So we didn't have to wake up. You know, we've always been this. Now, people around us may now be woke, Wayne, to your point, but we've never been asleep at the wheel. You know, Zed brought this up. This has been the core tenet of what we've done as a company, as our values forever. You know, so no, we're always awake.
Yeah, Wayne. I think that's a good way to put it, Ed, because for the last 20 years we've been doing this work, and Wayne, you know that when we built Maryland Live, we brought on Commercial Interiors.
That's right. That's right.
Who was really kind of a small company. They weren't big, but they weren't, you know, they weren't small, but they weren't big either. But we gave them an opportunity. I think the contract was over $350 million on hat. So they basically were the lead contractor.
Damn, I would have loved to have been there just to get a 1% of that deal.
And look, that was unheard of. It had never been done in the country.
You got to tell them about Kevin Johnson. I mean, we can't just commercial.
Well, Kevin Johnson. Kevin Johnson. I had met Kevin while working, to your point, Donnie, at Power Plant Live. He was doing some paving work. His company was doing some work for us. So I knew Kevin. The company was growing. We saw Kevin's company is located in Anne Arundel County. So all these dots that we're connecting, because we had relationships with folks, we knew that Kevin could do the job. His heart was in the right place. He was committed. We were committed. And we gave this guy a $350 million contract. And that was the biggest contract that he had ever had in his company.
But Zed, you're playing light now. Wayne, I gotta jump in. I can't. I gotta take my seatbelt off.
All right. Go ahead.
Zed, you gotta tell me about David Cordish, because those mornings where I will come downstairs and see you out there in the courtyard and directing people, you were talking to David Cordish. What were you telling him? I mean, at some point you had to be, I mean, sure, he's in charge, but at some point you were influencing him too.
Yeah, well, look, I was in a very interesting position because I had a contract with the Cordish Company. So before I became a partner here, I had a contract with them. So when I was doing, you saw me out there at Power Plant Live working the plaza. At that time, I had my own company. I had a contract with the Cordish Company. Basically, they liked me, the work ethic. I delivered,
On time.
Yeah, on time. And so they saw the hustle. I'll call it the hustle, right? At Cordish, you got to hustle. They saw the hustle in me, and one thing led to another, and I've been here 20 years. But the thing I love about being here is there's not a lot of heavy-handed oversight here. If people trust you to do the job and do what's right. So when I look at where we are in the DEI space, the companies that we've helped along the way, no one said, Zed, don't do this or don't do that. They trusted me to do it. And so my goal right now, Donnie, as Chief Operating Officer, is to create as many opportunities as I can for people that want to move up within our organization.
Then there's one other tough question I got to throw at you. In terms of gambling, Black people do a lot of it. Do you then hold yourself to a higher standard?
Yeah. Look, that's a tough question for me personally. But look, if done within constraint, most people don't have problems gambling. That's just a fact. Most people don't. And there's been a lot of studies on this. And it took me educating myself, Donnie, because personally, I'm not for it. I don't gamble, but my wife likes to play the slots, so we are a divided household, but she does it within constraint. And I think most people do.
No, not that part. I'm talking about we chip in a lot. I remember you guys are old enough to remember 1973 when the lottery first came on, and before that, Willie Adams had the street numbers. But I'm talking about the return on the investment to our community. That's what I mean. You guys are in position now to, hey, some of these dollars need to go like the James Mosier baseball.
Yeah. Well, look, that's always, at least for me, that's always in the forefront of my mind. How do we give back? And I think, when we created this position for Ed to go national with, the work that he does, that's a very big part of what we do is give back to the communities that we do business in. And we don't try to do that from Baltimore. Every city's different. We don't profess to know what's right for St. Louis or Kansas City or Philadelphia. But what we do is we create a platform and an environment that allows our community, or allows our team members to give back, and they determine what's best for their city. But what they do know is that the Cordish Company 100% supports whatever they want to do in the communities that we do business in.
Great job, Mr. Frazier.
Let me add something to that, if I may. Just a point of note from the gaming side, Donnie. Every director that works for us has to sit on 2 boards within their community. It's a must. It's a tie-in to the community. Then you have to bring back to us opportunities for us to be philanthropic within those communities. So that keeps us constantly tied in with the communities that we serve and that serve us, to your point. So that reinvestment back. I mean, listen, we go into West Baltimore, okay? If you're from Anne Arundel County, we go into Pioneer City. We go into these areas where—
What do you know about Pioneer City? Did you just mention Pioneer?
You heard me mention Pioneer City. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We just put a playground in Pioneer City. We was just a large donor for the new development center in Pioneer City, right? So when you talk
I'm
about
get phone calls after this show. They live in Pioneer City. I just want you to know.
Hey, they know, and we're not afraid of that. We go where the need is, okay? Not the need for media, but the need for people. And that is what we do as a company. And we've always done that. And that's why I'm proud, of my role and to work for the company that I work for.
And by the way, Donnie, Associated Black Charities, their gala is going to be at Maryland Live Casino.
Sure
Yep.
is.
So
Sure
we
is.
are, yeah,
Yep.
we're stepping up our game, brother.
Mr. Frazier, you've brought together a great ensemble here, and we get a chance to share some information and news. We hear these names all of the time, but Mr. Frazier, you've done a great job in bringing a basic story that we kind of overlook and don't pay attention to.
Well,
Diversity, equity, inclusion, right here in our own community.
well, and they have gone one step further. And this past February, Live Casino and Hotel celebrated its 10th anniversary of saluting Black History heroes here in the DMV. And each
I
session,
was one of them. I remember.
each session seems to bring out folks who we didn't know much about, but yet contribute to our community in so many different ways. This past year, and I was a little concerned at first, but I recommended to Live Casino and Hotel that they consider honoring within the group brother by the name of Carl Snowden.
Oh, absolutely. You can't be an Anne Arundel. Hey, look, you better take care of Carl Snowden.
Hey, if you know, you better.
You better take care. You in AA, you better know.
But we know that Carl has been pro Black folk forever. And at times he has rubbed people the wrong way. And so when I floated the idea, I thought I was going to get some conversation about it, but it was embraced across the board. And then he said, well, Wayne, why don't we have him as our keynote speaker? And Donnie, I mean, he got a standing ovation.
Of course he did.
He was great. Yeah,
he was. Yeah, he was.
So, but this is the 10th year of Live Casino and Hotel giving back to our folk. And I don't know of any casino in America, in the USA, that is doing anything close to honoring our folks this way. Now, Zed, and you've been around. Do you know of any other casino in America doing this?
No, they simply don't, Wayne. They don't, period.
I mean, that's Vegas. Well, we got gambling in almost every state now. So again, it just illustrates all the reasons why Live Casino Hotel brand is the #1 brand.
So Mr. Frazier, there's no wonder why you do events there. I mean, every time I turn around, you're doing an event there.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Donnie, come on down,
I
Donnie.
forgot about that. In July and in December, annually, we host the largest exhibition and expo for minority and women business at the Hall. It started out in the center that is now their sports gaming. It held 30 companies. Now, Donnie, Zed, Ed, we bring in 150 corporations, banks, construction companies, IT companies, transportation companies, University of Maryland Medical, Johns Hopkins, you name it, they're there looking to connect with women and minority-owned businesses. I don't know of any other corporation that does that.
Mr. Frazier, this is baseball season. I don't know if you know it, but this is an Emmy-nominated show, so I got a knuckleball for you.
Uh-oh.
Are you ready?
Go
Batter up.
Yeah.
We like to pay homage on this show, and one name that has not been mentioned. Come on, relax now. It's just a knuckleball. is Arnold Jolivet. Can you
Oh my God.
speak to the significance of Arnold Jolivet to the Maryland Washington Minority Companies Association?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. If it were not for Arnold Jolivet, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today. I would probably still be in some sort of financial arena. But back in 2001, I met Arnold for the first time, and he said, "Wayne, Wayne, you would be good at this." So he sold me the name of Maryland Washington Minority Contractors Association for $1. He sold me that name, and he moved on to greater heights over in DC and headed up the National Association of Minority Contractors. And then I picked it up from there, and Arnold instilled in me the pride of helping minority folks, minority businesses, principally African American businesses, in achieving the goals and aspirations that they were looking for. Arnold Jolivet is with me every day. Oftentimes, when I'm dealing with very tough situations, and the tough situations mean there may be a minority business that may be going out of business because they may made a bad decision, or they may not have gotten paid, or may not have this or that, and I'm involved with trying to assist them to get out of that bad situation. I sit back and say, Arnold, what would you do in this case? How can you help me? It's like I'm praying to him to help me. And lo and behold, oftentimes I come up with solutions that end up with saving that minority company from doom. And so it's Arnold's inspiration that continues to guide me to this day. I'm 70 years old, so I don't know how many years left I have in this, but Arnold is that guiding inspiration, Arnold Jolivet, and Robert Clay as well.
Oh my God, you gotta say a little more about Robert Lee Clay.
Well, Robert Lee Clay was the godfather of contractors, construction contractors, like Mr. William L. Adams, Little Willie Adams, was the godfather of business here in, I would say, in America back in the day. Robert Lee Clay was the godfather of construction, and he was bold. He took risk that others wouldn't take. I recall back in the day when he was having cash flow problems, he came to Harbor Bank. This was like in 1986, and I had been there just a year. And he only needed $250,000. And at that time, that was the legal lending limit for the bank, $250,000. The bank debated, and they said, well, we want all of his collateral. They wanted everything. So I went back to Rob, and he said, no problem. He said, I'm going to have you paid off in 30 days as opposed to 90. And sure enough, he paid us off. So we didn't make any money. Really, he should have been out there for a year. But that's Clay. And Clay helped so many other businesses along the way. He gave them their initial breaks. So if I had my Mount Rushmore, I would place Elijah Cummings. I would place Perrin Mitchell. I would place Arnold Jolivet. And I would place Robert Clay right up there on my mountain for those who have given back to us and didn't ask for anything in return.
Zed, you stand on pretty broad shoulders there, Zed. I don't know. That's a heavy lift.
Yeah, absolutely. I would also throw Dan Henson in there too. You know, Danny was very instrumental. Look, what's interesting here, guys, is that there's a season for all these gentlemen and ladies to make their mark in Black business. And, you know, so Ed and I, we're in a position to make a mark here.
Absolutely.
You know, Dan Henson made a mark. Luna Boone made a mark with me. And so as long as we keep that in front of us, that as human beings and as men, as Black men, you know, it's our duty. in our call to make a mark and leave a mark. And if you're in business, so be it. That's where your mark should be made. One of the things that Wayne has done, and I'm going back to my early years when I was talking about how difficult it was to connect with prospective, clients and customers. Wayne has just elevated that, 100-fold, where he can bring all these businesses together that didn't exist back in the late 90s. So I look at where we are today, what Wayne has been able to do, just being able to support, Black businesses, to bring majority business and small businesses together in one room to be able to share. That's a gift. And I want to thank Wayne for that. And we just got to keep building on that. So we just continue to create more opportunities for small and Black businesses to be successful.
Zed, I just want to jump in there. Daniel P. Henson III, I'll never forget that Sunday that the Baltimore Sun did a 3-page article, 3 full pages on Dan Henson. I read every word. And as much as they attempted to assassinate his character, they had nothing.
Yep. I didn't even read it. I think I may have got through maybe the first couple of paragraphs, and I just said, forget it.
They had nothing on him, Wayne. Nothing.
Yeah, I worked for Dan for a while, and he said, Wayne, they even went through my trash cans. He said, I spotted them out there. The reporters were going through my garbage to dig up dirt on me. I couldn't believe it. He taught me a lot when I entered the public side. And he said, remember this, Wayne, whatever you hear or say in this room, you can be sure that somebody outside of this room is going to find out about it. So be careful on what you say. I said, I'll keep that advice with me forever.
Mm-hmm.
So Edward Evans, you stand on even broader shoulders because it was the courage of people like Lena Boone, like Dan Henson, like Bob Clay, people who have even died, for us to have this opportunity today.
It's not taken lightly. I understand what was paved for me. I understand my role and how I got to get on my hands and knees and continue to lay that asphalt for the next generation to come and walk on. My children and my children's children.
But it's not easy. You sometimes the community pushes back, or you want to help a particular nonprofit and they're not organized. Zed, you know about the patience. You've been to communities like Upton and Druid Heights.
Yeah.
See some of the challenges. There are a litany of obstacles, excuses maybe.
Yeah. Listen, I in my house, in my household, we can't let that define nor stop. There are a lot of obstacles. But when you talk about the shoulders of our ancestors who had way more obstacles than I have ever had to deal with, there's no way in the world I can sit here and even level an excuse as to why I can't make it, or why I can't do it, or why I can't push forward. Too many people before us have shown us that through consistency, hard work, dedication, and education, you can achieve anything you want.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to echo that. And, it's sometimes what we see today, and no offense to anybody, but a lot of people have excuses about why they can't do things. And, again, I go back to my dad, who had it way tougher than I did when he was a tobacco farmer in Calvert County, Maryland, where they would only get half of what other people were getting for their tobacco that they took to market. And there was no laws against it, right? They were just doing it. So you start out as a deficit, but regardless of all that, people worked hard. Had 15 kids on a farm. Everybody worked hard, and there's no substitute for it.
You got to know about Matthew Alexander Henson. Matthew Alexander Henson is the elementary school that me and my friends went to, and he's the first man, Wayne, to discover the North Pole. but he's from Calvert County, Maryland.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the name, yes.
Yeah.
Matthew Alexander Henson. They tried to give Admiral Robert Perry credit because surely this black man from Calvert County couldn't have discovered the North Pole, but in fact he did. I'm sorry, that's security. We have our own security.
So can we got a few minutes left? So Donnie Glover will be with us, Zed and Ed, as an exhibitor at the May 12th event at Martin's West. The event is sold out. There is no more tickets available for inside of the catering hall. However, we have 80 exhibitors, and Donnie will be one of them, who will be part of the exhibit hall. And that information is all on our website, www.mwmca.org. And we encourage, and that's free. So there's unlimited opportunities to come and meet with our exhibitors. And it's not as exact as the live event in July and December, but because Martin's can only hold but so much. But there are quality exhibitors there as well. Just check it out, and we encourage folks to come and stroll through the exhibit hall and meet your next opportunity. And again, we enjoy doing this. My wife Patricia spends from January 1, maybe 2 weeks before the end of the year, putting together the packages to go out, but then the rest of the time putting together this event to ensure that it is quality and first class, and that the honorees, which include Sunbelt Rentals, which includes Constellation Energy, and includes First National Bank, Grunley Corporation. We have Chris Lundy, who is the chief of minority business for Baltimore City, and he is doing a tremendous job there. Amazon is really knocking doors down now to include diverse suppliers. We have Sabrina Bass, who is head of the certification arm at the state of Maryland. We have, David P. Bramble of MCB Real Estate. He's the gentleman that's taking on Harbor Place.
Harbor Place project, yeah.
We have Vernice Lewis. She is the chief diversity officer for Exelon out of Chicago.
And Bramble's all over the place. He's got more than the harbor. He's got the former Murder Mall, West North Avenue, something over in Northeast, Northwood or somewhere. He's everywhere. This young man. And you got to plug his mama and his daddy, Joy Bramble, Peter Bramble, because they've run the Baltimore Times for the past 40 years.
Lonnie, you are so right. I mean, that's just a great Baltimore family. And we are very fortunate to have him and his geniusness and his connections in reviving Baltimore. We also have Mr. Robert Harrington of R.E. Harrington. And let me say this, Rob has changed the way, we talk about Robert Clay, but Rob has changed the way Black contractors operate here in the state. Plus, what I'm so proud of, he's established an apprenticeship program with his own money. He's teaching young Black men and women how to work in the field of underground construction.
Has the city of Baltimore been very supportive of that effort, Mr. Frazier?
Donnie, to my point, yes. They've come. Get the sister by the name of Dina Joyce. She is head of Baltimore City's boards and commissions. Between her and Rob Harrington, they came up with a program to unbundle the contracts at DPW. Some of those contracts can be $10, $15, $20 million a piece, $5 million a piece. Well, even at that level, at 5, there's only one Black contractor that I know that can do that. But they are embracing reducing it to $250,000, $500,000, so that a lot of our smaller Black contractors can now take advantage of doing work underground in Baltimore City. And what will that do? It will eventually grow them into primes, but they can't take on the big ones.
You know, Mr. Zed Smith, we need more of that unbundling, because it affords small companies like when you first started to get a piece of the pie, and you can grow that one and somebody else can grow one, and then we can bring more money back to West Baltimore, to East Baltimore. But it's a shame in 2023, we're still talking about unbundling. Yeah. 2023, it's a little late here. We need to take on some of the practices of the Cordish Company and city government in a majority Black and brown city there, Mr. Zed Smith.
Yeah, Donnie, we've been doing that for years, because, you know, that was one of the things that we recognized early on. And, you know, the first thing we want to do is understand the capabilities of a contractor, and then we can figure out how we can help. So there are two things, right? Size of the contract and paying people on time.
Yeah, right.
Oh my God, yes.
That was the thing we focused on, because I can
net
tell
90
you,
doesn't, that's not, I like cash and carry. They want to talk about net 90, net 6. No. Like Macy's,
no.
cash, carry.
And Johnny, I can tell you, I've had to pick up the phone here in Baltimore for folks in Kansas City that did not get paid, and I did not hesitate to make that call, because I know how important it is. And then the fact that contractor felt comfortable calling me and saying, "Hey, Zed, I got a problem. I need some help." And I immediately pick up the phone, because I've been there. I know how tough it is when you're going from payroll to payroll. You know, you need that money flowing. And so that's automatic for us, Donnie. You know, minority contractors get paid first. And we tell our prime contractors that too. That's part of the deal, that you got to pay your minority or small business and minority contractors, Black contractors, whatever. They got to get paid in 30 days. That's in our contract.
Martin Luther King would be proud of you, sir.
Well, I would hope so.
Yes.
But thank you. Yes. But I just know how important that is.
Somebody net 90, woman breathing down my throat. She want to go to prime rib. Can I net 90 prime rib? Heck no.
No, sir. No, sir.
and prime rib is down at Live, I believe.
That's what he
sir.
said.
And that's cash and carry, just so you know. That's cash and carry.
No net 90 there. Thank you, gentlemen, so much. Mr. Frazier, are you pleased?
Right.
I am very pleased. Donnie, Zed, and Ed. I mean, this is a blessing to have Donnie Glover coordinating this every morning for our audiences. And it's an educational program as well. So thank you. Thank you all for coming on this morning. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for having us.
Yes, sir. Good morning,
you all. Take care, guys.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye.